Kai woke before his alarm with Mina's message still unanswered in his mind. Tomorrow. I promise. Promises were easier at midnight. Morning made them solid. Kai had learned that with homework, apologies, and every brave plan ever made beneath a blanket while the rest of the apartment slept, night let a person borrow courage from the future. Morning arrived with cold floorboards, a stiff back, and the blunt fact that courage had to be paid for in daylight. He lay beneath the stained ceiling and listened to the apartment settle around him. His body ached from training, but the pain no longer felt like proof that he had done something wrong. It was becoming information. Ribs sore. Wrist tender. Legs tired but usable. Breath steady if he did not rush it. The system shimmered. Body tempering stage 2, Chief of 10/30th's foundation stability, marginal recommendation, controlled exertion only. I am starting to miss vague advice, Kai muttered. At school, Mina found him before homeroom. She did not mention the promise at first. That was worse. She walked beside him through the crowded hallway with her notebook hugged against her chest and waited until they reached the stairwell landing where fewer people lingered. Later is now, she said. Kai looked down the stairs. Students passed below, laughing and shouting, ordinary noise covering the shape of a dangerous conversation. Not everything, he said. Mina's face tightened, but she nodded. Something true. He remembered saying those same words to Ryan. One true thing. The ruins react to me, Kai said. Mina did not blink. How? I do not fully understand. Sometimes I feel pressure near the stones. Sometimes I see patterns other people do not. Sometimes. He swallowed. Sometimes things notice back. Her fingers tightened around the notebook. For a moment she looked younger than she usually allowed herself to look at school. Not frightened exactly, but caught between wanting to ask 10 questions and understanding that each one might push him back behind the careful wall he had finally opened. Mina glanced toward the stairwell door, then lowered her voice even though the hall noise covered them. When you say notice, do you mean like a person? Is that why you have been lying? The question hurt because it did not sound angry. Yes. To protect me. Partly. And partly because saying it out loud makes it harder to pretend you are handling it alone. Kai looked at her. Mina's expression softened by one careful degree. I know you. That was the problem. She did. She knew the rhythm of his excuses. She knew when he ate too fast because he wanted to leave before questions arrived. She knew the difference between a bruise from practice and a bruise from being stupid. She knew him well enough that half-truths had begun to look insulting, and Kai realized that protecting someone by making them feel foolish was not protection at all. Before he could answer, Ryan appeared on the stairs below, apple in hand, grin already loaded. Secret stairwell meeting. Should I be jealous or worried? Neither, Mina said. Too late. I choose both. Ryan climbed the last steps and stopped beside Kai. His gaze moved over Kai's posture, the bruising near one wrist, the way he kept his weight balanced without thinking. Gym after class, Ryan said. Kai sighed. No. You promised Mina truth. You can promise me fists. That is not how promises work. Mina pointed her pen at Ryan. Do not make this worse. Ryan's grin faded a little. I am trying to make it honest. That landed oddly between them. Ryan saw more than he admitted. Kai had known that in a lazy, everyday way for years. Ryan noticed when teachers used silence before bad news. He noticed which students laughed too loudly after being insulted. He noticed when Kai started carrying pain differently. Usually he hid that sharpness behind jokes because jokes made people less likely to ask what else he had seen. Now he was choosing not to hide all of it, and the choice made the stairwell feel smaller. After school, Kai went to the gym because refusing would have turned the spar into a bigger spectacle than accepting. He insisted on no audience. Ryan agreed, which told Kai the curiosity had become serious. The walk there was quieter than their usual walks. Ryan bounced an apple core from hand to hand until Mina snatched it away and threw it into a bin without breaking stride. Kai almost thanked her for the interruption. His thoughts were trying to run ahead to every possible failure. If he moved too well, Ryan would know. If he moved too badly, Ryan would push harder. If he lost control for even a breath, Mina's careful belief might become fear. They faced each other on the old practice mat while Mina sat on the lowest bleacher with her notebook closed. The gym smelled of rubber mats, floor polish, and the faint metallic tang of old radiators. Afternoon light came through the high windows in dusty bars. Someone had left a cart of basketballs near the wall, and each tiny shift in the building made them knock softly together. Kai noticed every sound. He was learning that nerves did not always make the world blurry. Sometimes they made it too clear. Rules, Kai said. Ryan raised a brow. You have rules now. Light contact. Stop when I say stop. No trying to prove something by breaking me. The words were meant for Ryan, but Kai heard the echo of them turn back on himself. No proving something by breaking me. No treating his body like an argument he had to win. Han had been pushing him toward that lesson for days. Mina had been asking for it without naming it. Even the system's flat warnings had begun to sound less like obstacles and more like a stubborn, impersonal version of concern. For once, Ryan did not joke. Fine. They bowed. Ryan moved first, quick and direct. Kai stepped back rather than sideways, remembering Han's instruction, do not let fear choose the direction. The first jab brushed his guard. The second hit harder. Pain flashed through his forearm. Ryan had always been fast. Kai used to hate that about sparring with him. Ryan made hesitation visible. He crossed distance before Kai finished deciding whether to retreat, and by the time Kai's pride caught up, his shoulder or shin had already paid the cost. If you want us to keep making more stories like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Azure Inkblade. Now, back to the chapter. This time, Kai saw the first step, the angle of the hip, the tiny drop in Ryan's left shoulder. Seeing was not the same as answering, but it gave him a fraction of space. Controlled combat detected. Chi circulation rising. Recommendation, maintain concealment. Kai breathed low and kept the ember banked. Banked did not mean gone. The ember pressed against his restraint with warm, eager logic. Ryan was safe enough to fight. Mina already knew enough to be frightened. A little more speed would end the exchange before anyone got hurt. A little more strength would prove he was not helpless. Every argument sounded reasonable because every argument wanted the same thing, permission. Ryan noticed the restraint immediately. You are holding back. So are you. I am being polite. That is holding back with better manners. Ryan laughed and came in faster. Kai blocked, shifted, nearly stumbled, recovered. His body wanted to draw more from the ember. It would have been easy to let the warmth flood his arms and make the next movement sharper. Easy, and stupid. Mina watched from the bleachers. Ryan watched from inside the fight. If he used too much, both would see. So he did something harder. He let Ryan's pressure stay pressure. He let the opening pass when taking it would have required more strength than a normal body could explain. He let the sting in his forearm remain a sting instead of feeding chi through it until pain became distant. Each refusal felt tiny. Together they felt like carrying a bowl filled to the lip across a crowded room. He lost honestly. Ryan caught him with a clean sweep and Kai hit the mat with a breathless grunt. The impact hurt, but not badly. Ryan stepped back at once and offered a hand. For half a second the ceiling lights blurred above him and old humiliation rose on reflex. Losing had a taste. He knew it from gym class, from alleyways, from every time his body had failed to match the shape of his anger. Then the feeling changed. Ryan had not humiliated him. Mina had not looked away in pity. The mat under his back was only a mat, and the ache in his ribs was only a warning to breathe before standing. Kai took it. "You could have done more," Ryan said quietly. "Maybe. Why didn't you?" Kai looked toward Mina. She was pretending not to listen and failing. "Because more is not always better." Mina's pen moved once, though her notebook was still closed. "A habit, maybe. Or a way to keep her hands from doing something else." Kai saw the question on her face and was grateful she did not ask it in front of Ryan. More strength. More secrets. More answers pulled from stones before anyone knew what they cost. He was tired of more pretending to be the same thing as progress. Ryan studied him, then nodded once as if the answer had satisfied a question he had not known how to ask. "Again tomorrow?" "No. Day after?" "Maybe." Ryan's grin returned, but softer. Progress. Lunch the next day became a research session with rules. Mina brought excavation notes. Kai told her which displays made him feel pressure and which did not. Ryan listened more than he spoke, which was unnerving enough that Mina checked his forehead for fever. They chose the far end of the cafeteria where the tables wobbled and most students avoided the draft from the side door. Mina spread her notes with the seriousness of a field commander arranging maps. Ryan contributed 3 packets of crackers and the solemn announcement that logistics mattered. Kai sat with his back to the wall because he had started doing that without noticing. Mina noticed. She did not comment. "The stones were placed," Mina said, tapping a diagram. "And not randomly. If your reactions are stronger near certain fragments, then the arrangement matters." "We are not sneaking in," Kai said. "I did not say we were." Her eyes flicked to Ryan, which meant she had absolutely considered it and was annoyed at being caught before the argument matured. Kai felt an unexpected warmth that had nothing to do with Chi. Mina was still Mina. Even when frightened, she wanted the shape of the problem. Even when hurt, she built columns and circles and rules because panic offended her sense of order. "You were about to." She closed her mouth. Ryan pointed at the map. "What about looking from the outside? No fence problem. No illegal problem. Probably fewer mysterious people appearing in moonlight problem." Kai stared at him. "What?" Ryan said. "I can be reasonable once a semester." Mina drew 3 circles on the map. "Fine. Outside only. We compare reactions from public points." She labeled them in tidy block letters: Station Gate, South Drain, West Wall. Public ground. Clear exits. Daylight only. Ryan added a 4th circle around the nearest snack stall and labeled it Morale. Mina crossed it out. Kai watched them argue over ink and distance and realized, slowly, that the truth had not destroyed the ordinary rhythm between them. It had bent around the truth and kept moving. The system pulsed faintly. External awareness risk reduced. Kai almost smiled. For once, telling a little truth had made the situation less dangerous instead of more. That did not mean truth was safe. Kai was not foolish enough to believe one careful confession solved secrecy. Mina still did not know about the first message the system had shown him. Ryan did not know how close the ember sat beneath Kai's skin during the spar. Neither of them knew Seo Jun's warning or Han's history with the park. But a little truth had given them a shared map, and a shared map was better than 3 people wandering separately in the dark. That night, he trained only 5 cycles before stopping. The ember wanted more. Kai did not give it more. He was beginning to understand that strength was not the only answer. Strength had been the answer he wanted because strength sounded clean. Strong people did not need to explain why they were afraid. Strong people did not owe anyone the ugly middle part where they were still learning. but the last few days had shown him another kind of discipline, one that looked unimpressive from the outside. Tell enough truth. Stop before damage. Let friends stand close without handing them every danger at once. Sometimes the answer was restraint.